Welcome students again into the 12th science chemistry class. We are learning from the last 2 or 3 lectures the new chapter of section 1, that is the chemical thermodynamics, chapter number 4. Now in that we in the last lecture learned that is the state function. Functions are the properties such as volume, pressure, temperature into that, and if the value of these functions or properties are not depends upon the path of the reaction. The value of these properties, pressure, temperature, volume, etc., if not depends on the path of the reaction, that are only depends on the initial state and final state of the system, such functions are called as the state functions. Their values are only depends on the initial state and final state. Because in thermodynamics, we are always interested into the change in function, that is the delta T. How delta T is obtained? T2 minus T1. So here only the initial temperature T1 and final temperature T2 are necessary. That are called as the state functions. But there is some path functions such as work and heat. These two properties are path function. That means they depends on the path of the reaction. So what is the path function? The properties which depends on the path are called as the path function. The properties which depends on the path are called as the path function. So work and heat are the path functions. Now let us learn about the thermodynamic equilibrium. You know very well in the ionic equilibrium what is equilibrium, that is the balance. Now what is the thermodynamic equilibrium? Now all the properties that is the pressure, temperature, volume, number of moles, etc., if their values does not change throughout the process or throughout the reaction, then such, that is the reaction is called as, it is in the thermodynamic equilibrium. Such reactions are said to be in thermodynamic equilibrium if their properties does not change throughout the reaction. Such reactions are said to be in the thermodynamic equilibrium. Now what is the definition of thermodynamic equilibrium? See here, a system is said to be in a thermodynamic equilibrium when its state functions, volume, pressure, temperature, etc., do not vary or do not change with time, is called as the system is said to be in a thermodynamic equilibrium. A system is said to be in a thermodynamic equilibrium if its state functions do not vary or do not change with time, is the thermodynamic equilibrium. Now for example, temperature, pressure, volume and number of moles, if not changed throughout the reaction, then the system is said to be in the thermodynamic state. That system and that reaction is said to be in a thermodynamic state. Now let us learn about the process and its types. Now you know the process, that is the reaction. Process is nothing but it is the reaction. It may be physical reaction or it may be chemical reaction. So what is the process now here? How process we define? Now we are learning the process and its types. Now there are 5 types of processes are there. Now what is the process? Let us learn. A transition or change, from one equilibrium state to the another equilibrium state is called as the process. What is process? A transition from one equilibrium state to another is called process. Now how many types of processes are there? There are 5 types of processes. Isothermal process. The first one is the isothermal. As the name suggests, here temperature remains constant throughout the process. Now, iso means same, thermal means temperature. So, isothermal process means it is the process, how we define then isothermal process? It is the process in which temperature of the system remains constant throughout the transformation or change is called as the isothermal process. It is the process in which temperature of the system remains constant throughout the transformation is called as the isothermal process. Remember students. So in isothermal process, as temperature remains constant, that means the temperature of initial state and temperature of final states are equal. T1 is equal to T2. Therefore, T2 minus T1 is equal to 0. That is delta T is equal to 0. So see here, in such process, heat flows from system to surroundings. Yes, in the isothermal process, always the heat flows from system to surrounding or surrounding to system if it is the endothermic process. If it is exothermic process, the heat is flows from system to surrounding. Why? Because the temperature the system have to maintain constant. If the system does not, if the system is exothermic and if it does not flow the heat, then what happens? There is the blast. So to remain the temperature constant, system must have to flow. If it is the exothermic process in which it is given out, the system must be given out the heat. And if it endothermic process, that means in which heat is gained, in that continuously heat must be gained because during the transformation the heat is used up. Therefore, what they says, in such process heat flows from system to surroundings and vice versa, or surrounding to system. This process is endothermic. Again, what is that? So as the temperature remains constant, due to that what happen? Heat flows from system to surrounding if it is the exothermic process, or heat gained by the surrounding to system if it is endothermic process. Therefore, what happened? Due to that temperature remains constant. So remember students, exothermic process and endothermic process are the isothermal processes. Remember that exothermic process and endothermic process both are the isothermal process because that process maintain their temperature constant. So what is that again? For a given temperature, if the temperature is constant, the internal energy of the system also remains constant. Remember that. What is internal energy? Internal energy means energy in that system, in the particles, in the constituent particles of that system. The energy associated with the constituent particles in that system or reaction is called as the internal energy. Internal energy is that is the temperature function. That means if temperature increases, then internal energy changes. If temperature increase, internal energy also increase. If temperature decrease, internal energy also decrease. So internal energy depends upon the temperature. Remember that. So for a given temperature, if temperature is constant, internal energy also remains constant. So for a given temperature, the internal energy, we have now represent this internal energy by the capital U, the letter capital U. So for a given temperature, the internal energy U of the system also remains constant because temperature is constant, and therefore T1 is equal to T2 if therefore T2 minus T1. Suppose T1 is 30 degree and T2 is also 30 degree, then 30 minus 30 is equal to 0. Therefore T2 minus T1 is equal to 0. That is delta T is equal to 0. And also temperature are constant, therefore their initial internal energy and final internal energy are also constant. U1 is equal to U2. Therefore U2 minus U1 is equal to 0. That is delta U is equal to 0. Now let us learn the second process, that is the isobaric process. Now isobaric, you know, it is concerned about with the pressure. So the system or the process maintain its pressure constant throughout the transformation, then the system or process is called as the isobaric process. Remember that. What is the definition? The isobaric process is the process in which the pressure remains constant. That is P1 is equal to P2. Therefore, delta P is equal to 0 because P2 minus P1. Delta P is equal to 0. So, in the isobaric process, the pressure remains constant during the transformation or during the change from one state to another state. So, the process in which the pressure remains constant during the transformation is called as the isobaric process. In a laboratory, we generally do all the reactions at constant pressure, that is the of 1 atmosphere in the open container. So, all the reactions or process which are carried out into the laboratory are the isobaric processes, and therefore in laboratory chemical reactions are carried out at 1 atmospheric process. Therefore, they are the isobaric process. Into that, delta P is equal to 0. So, students, if you like and understand this video, then you should subscribe and share this video to the other students also, so that they can be again get benefited or advantage of this video. Now, the remaining 3 processes are there: isochoric process, reversible process and irreversible process. We will learn into the next lecture. But first you take the screenshot and write down the notes in your notebook in a beautiful handwriting. So thank you students for watching this video. Subscribe and share it.